All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of KAGEMAN'S Korner. I have another special guest here with me today. This is my boy Dizzee.
What's happening, y'all? What's good?
He's another local artist. He can kind of introduce himself if he wants to, kind of let you know more about him.
So I'm Dizzee Wallace, Dizzee Wallace, and I always have to make sure to spell that because people spell it 3 or 4 different types of ways.
I was looking for your music earlier on platforms, so I was like, how does he spell this shit?
Yeah, but see, at every show that I do, I always, and I know most people ain't paying attention, whatever, but every show that I do, I always spell it, but it just, like I said, for some reason, it just don't stick because it's like most people like to do Dizzee, but whichever way
that's how I
That's how I
did it.
Or Dizzee or whatever. But usually if you type it into like the streaming platforms and stuff like that, you know, in those ways it'll still pop up. You'll find me though, but it's Dizzee then Wallace.
All platforms. Definitely support your local artists. I'm gonna keep screaming it from the rooftops. I know y'all tired of hearing me say it by now.
Yeah, man. I mean, no, we got a lot of talent in this city. We really do, and I can definitely vouch for that. I've seen it. But it's just, you know, like I said, attitudes get in the way, and I don't think we necessarily believe in ourselves as a collective. So that's the unfortunate thing about it. But we have many talented MCs here and singers too. So
that's right. I'm still, and I thought I'd been in the scene, but I'm still learning new people every day from here to Louisville, and that's just here in Louisville. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
How long have you actually been in the game? How long have you actually been rapping, like putting shit on wax, like?
Well, as far as like putting stuff on wax, I've been doing that since 2015.
Okay.
As far as like writing raps and all that stuff, I've been doing that all my life. You know what I'm saying? Ever since I was younger. I mean, I've always been a huge hip hop head. I'm a 90s baby, so
okay. Same, yeah. I caught the end of it though.
Yeah. Because see, like the late 90s and the early 2000s, that was like it was almost a bit of like I had heard a lot of what we consider now the classics growing up, you know what I'm saying, while I was young.
Right, yeah.
But then, you know, as I got older or whatever, I was able to understand a lot more of what was being pumped out back then. Right. But I still liked the music even when I was young. But then I went through like an underground rap phase in like the early 2000s or whatever.
Okay. Middle
school and all that. So
yeah, I hit that like my 8th grade freshman year. I started going like mixtapes and shit like that.
Yeah. So I got an underground rap and discovered groups like Company Flow, and then
I never heard of them.
Yeah, Company Flow. They're a group based out of New York.
Okay.
And LP from Run the Jewels or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
He used to be a part of Company Flow.
Okay, I might definitely have to check them out.
Yeah, because their first album was called Fun Crusher Plus. That came out like '97.
Okay.
But like I said, it definitely influenced my style and what I love to do and all that.
Cool.
But yeah, so you know, like I said, I grew up on the hip hop stuff, and WuTang is another one of my. I'm a WuTang baby till the death of me. So
I got into WuTang late, and I still can't say I'm a big fan or aficionado, but they definitely are smooth, bro. As far as like wordplay and just the vibe that they give off. You know what I'm saying? Like they're how do I say? Like charisma, like their energy on the track. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
what? See, because the thing about them and what I always found fascinating was like, you know, you'll never see another group like that again where you have 9 rappers in a group.
Damn, it was 9 of them?
There was 9 of them.
Okay.
All of them have their own. All of them are great lyricists to begin with, number one, and they all have their own individual styles. So it's like when you put all of that together and it just works so well. Like say you'll hardly like so you probably won't even see anything like WuTang again. That was just like a, you know, so that was like lightning in a bottle
type shit.
Yeah, but
that's what I hear a lot of people say.
Yeah,
and even just on a cultural tip, as far as like RZA doing shit with like Afro Samurai and shit like that. I thought that shit blew my mind. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Raekwon, who's part of WuTang Clan, of course. He's my favorite rapper of all time, my favorite MC of all time.
Hell yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, he's definitely influenced me quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? Well, like say him, you know, Redman has always been a close affiliate to Wu-Tang, but Redman's always been one of my all-time favorites too. But getting back to my history with rap or whatever, so I'd always been writing raps. Then like 2012, I decided to start like taking it more seriously.
Okay, yeah.
And I was in college at the time.
Was it anything specific that made you say, okay, I want to do this more serious, or yes, this is the thing, or was it just like okay?
Well, I mean, around that time, like you had, you know, artists like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Joey Badass. Like you had this new influx of rappers coming through after like what seemed to be a bit of a, not so much of a drought for me, but there was like this new age of like of discovery when it came to finding, you know, lyrical talent out there.
Okay.
And so, because like if we're just talking about mainstream rap, like 2006 to 2009, we all know what the sound of rap was back then, especially in the mainstream.
Right.
And like I say, you had, I mean, of course you had Kanye, Wayne, you had those guys out there putting out great material. But there was so much other stuff, you know.
On the wayside,
yeah. And so, and like I said, you had Lupe too. But like I said, they were part of like a minority, you know, the bling rap and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? There was a great influx of that during that time.
Okay.
But it was like, you know, with Kendrick, J. Cole, you know what I'm saying, Run the Jewels.
And see, I didn't even hear of Run the Jewels until like 3 years ago. I was body piercing and they would play it in there a lot. And I was like, what is this? It was like, you ain't heard of Run the Jewels? And I was like, what? I was like, nah.
Yeah. I mean, because like the LP I've been a fan of for a long time, and Killer Mike I've been a fan of for a long time.
Okay.
So I thought it was cool that they actually formed that group and came together. So then Danny Brown.
Okay. Same. I've heard of him around the same time. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Danny Brown, and then, you know, like I said, there were people coming in who were like trying to usher in this new wave of just, you know, of lyrical talent and making lyrics an important part of hip hop once again.
Right.
So with all that music coming in, I was just sort of like, well, you know, I've been writing raps for a long time, but let me do it again, and let's see where I can go with it if I take it seriously.
Type shit. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So it was like a whole nother, like I kept writing for like the next 2.5 years, hadn't recorded anything or nothing like that.
Damn, it's crazy, bro. It's hard.
Yeah. I mean, and I was surprised I was able to even do that, because I'm just like writing stuff.
Right.
For 2.5 years.
When you write, is there like a process? Do you necessarily need a beat? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you just kind of go off top sometimes?
I mean, it really depends. It really depends. Most of the time, if I hear a piece of music or something like that, you know what I'm saying, that'll usually do it for me. Or sometimes I just like to get in my car and listen to a beat over and over and over again.
Got you.
And, you know, that'll usually spark something. But then there's other times where I like be at work, or, you know, I'll be out somewhere doing something, and then something just hits me, and I'm just like, let me get this down real quick before I forget it.
Right, it do be like it sometimes.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just like a 4 bar thing. Like 4 lines will pop into my head, and I will keep saying them over and over and over again,
until
try to remember them. And then when I write them down, I'm like, okay, so now I got something to work from. But as far as like the process, I mean, it really, really varies.
Okay.
Most of the time, it just usually comes in like a wave, because I don't like to manufacture rhymes.
Shit, yeah. You
know what I'm saying? I like for it to hit me when it hits me.
I'm the same way with my beats. Like, not to cut you off, I'm the same way with my beats. Like, as far as like, I know a lot of people like go in the studio and they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna do X amount of beats today, or I'm gonna do this. That shit kills me, bro. I can't sit there and force myself to make a beat if the music isn't speaking to me, or I don't have that feeling or that vibe. I don't even want to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, because you know the difference between working from true inspiration versus manufacturing something or just writing something down. That's the reason why, like, I choose to keep my projects short.
Okay.
Because
I did notice that, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because usually if I have something to say, I say right then and there. I don't need a song to be like 5 minutes in order for me to explain what it is that I'm feeling. Right. Or other times I might need that, or I might bring somebody else on to like further, you know what I'm saying, drill that point into the ground. Gotcha. But as an MC and as a writer, like I said, I'm usually just straight to the point. But, you know, for me, like I said, you know, usually when that wave hits me, and I learned that from MF Doom, by the way, because he said in an election one time, you know, like when he was recording, like when him and Madlib were in LA recording Mad Villainy, which is one of my, you talk about an album that just gave me inspiration like crazy.
I'm not even going to sit here and try to cap or flex. I never got into MF Doom right until up like the end of his career. Yeah. So I do need to go back and do some research on it.
Yeah, I mean Mad Villainy, that I listened to that repeatedly, and that was such a crazy time too, because that came out like a month after College Dropout did.
Okay, damn, for real?
Yeah, like early 2004. Like 2004 was a crazy year for rap music for me. Okay. It was like College Dropout, and then Mad Villainy came out, like two totally different albums, but I mean they were just, you know, Mad Villainy was just weird and off kilter, and you know, that was crazy, but it's like, you know, it's just a wave that has to hit me. And he said, you know, when him and Madlib were recording Mad Villainy in LA, he said that, you know, Madlib would just like send him CDs of like beats and stuff from the basement or whatever. And he go and sit out on the balcony and write. And he said there were days where he said he couldn't get out anything. So he's like, well, you know, if there's days I can't get nothing out, I'll just go do something else or whatever. But he said it's like a wave. And I feel like it's just kind of life in general. Like, I feel like, at least from my experience, there's been times where I just expect days to be amazing or be hella productive, but then it's not, or shit's slow, or I'm looking like twiddling my fingers, and it's just like, we can't have too many expectations or try to make too many plans. Yeah. We just don't have too much control over shit that happens. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I'm realizing that. As I get older too, because I'm 30, and you know, I have those thoughts sometimes where I'm just like, man, you know, I wish I would have started rapping like when I was like way younger, because you know, because sometimes you have those thoughts that hit you where you're just like, man, if I would have did this a lot earlier, I probably would have done this or would have done that
type shit. And
you know,
at least for me personally, I have those thoughts too. And for me, a lot of it comes from like trying to compare myself to other people. Yeah. And that's just not good for us in general, because we're not them and they're not us. Like, our journey is tailor-made for us. Like, especially like me with like fitness. I just got into fitness like a year ago, and I'm like, damn, if I would have started here, I could be here. I'm looking at these people do this shit, and it's what I'm saying? But, and like, even with like music, like this shit, as I'm sure you know by now, this shit it takes time, you know what I'm saying? Like, I watched the interview with DJ Khaled. He said he didn't really get his first little buzz until he was like 40. So, you know I mean,
like, it's like that sometimes. I mean, there's certain music artists where, I mean, hell, you look at Jay Electronica, for example, right? Like, dude dropped his first album at 43 because he kept saying, oh, there's an album coming, and he said that for years. But I probably wouldn't have taken that long, especially how anticipated his stuff was. But the thing is like, you know, you just never know how this thing is going to go. But it's like the worst thing that you can do is quit. Right. And, you know, if the day comes where I feel like, you know, because I mean, besides music, I like to do other things too, podcasting and all that stuff. Right. But, But
so do you have your own podcast?
I don't have my own podcast,
Okay,
but like lately, because I'm into movies and comic books and all that stuff too. And
Valid, we've definitely had those conversations.
Yeah. And like I said, I have a couple friends that I work with who invited me as a guest, like 2 or 3 times on there, just to talk about things that have come out in like recent months. Like we just did one on the Batman.
Okay, I haven't watched it yet, but I need to check it. Oh, I think I did scroll past that. I need to click on it.
Yeah, man. I mean, amazing, just great. But
I don't know how I feel about it just because of who's playing Batman, but I just have the stigma of him playing in Twilight. But I've never really seen his other shit, so it's like I can't judge him just off of that.
I'll say this. So like the Twilight thing, I feel like now that he is who he is, that's going to be like shaken off. Because I've seen his movies, a lot of his movies since Twilight. Okay. And I mean, as an actor, I mean, he definitely grew like greatly.
Okay.
But in my personal opinion, and people can think whatever they want, I grew up on Michael Keaton Batman and all that stuff. Okay. And so, you know what I'm saying? So I've been there.
Right.
But to me, he's the best one so far.
Word. All right, but I'm definitely going to check it out.
Now it's a different iteration of Batman that we've seen before, and I could probably understand why some probably wouldn't like it as much because I mean it's a different direction, but
is it like gonna be the new DC canon for Batman? Is it gonna be?
Yeah. Like this is its own thing. It's not connected to anything else in DC as far as like Wonder Woman.
That's what I was wondering. Okay.
No. This is its own thing, and it needs to be.
All right.
Because I feel like in terms of standards or whatever, DC could hold a new standard when it comes to comic book movies, just like they did with The Dark Knight.
Okay.
So, But yeah, I mean, it was a great film. But we did a review on that, like a reaction review, and so I love talking about that stuff. But it's like, you know, as I've gotten older, the knowledge that I have when it comes to music, when it comes to anything pop culture or whatever it is, I'm finding those things. Well, what it was like, you know, I find myself being on these platforms, talking about these things as if I'm, you know. Like, you know what I'm saying, like an expert.
Okay.
Or somebody who has a lot of knowledge about this stuff. And I mean, I've always been with this stuff, but but just going back to what we were saying, you never know how things are going to work out in life.
Totally.
But you know, the thing is, like I said, I love music, I love movies. You know what I'm saying? These are things that I really, really cherish. And as I'm getting older, I'm finding myself in spaces where, you know, I am hands-on with those things and I'm involved with those things. So. If anybody out there is doing anything that they love or you're trying to take it seriously or whatever it is that you're doing, if you really believe in it that much, don't quit. If you feel like you're too old, don't listen to those lies either. You know what I'm saying? Make sure your life is straight and other aspects of your life are good and everything. But if you really, really love something, you know what I'm saying, keep doing it because, like I said, if that thing gives you life or whatever, and you're really about it though, like most definitely just stick with it.
Piggybacking off of what he said, like it's never too late. I don't know her name, but there's like a famous artist. She didn't get famous until she was like 80. So like you never know when the shit will happen, bro.
Yeah,
like, you just can't stop.
Yeah, you know, and that's what life is all about. Trying to plan this thing. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you know, take care of your responsibilities and do what you have to do.
Right.
But like what I have found more times than not is that if you're just available, you know what I'm saying? If you're available and you just whatever is given to you, if you're told to like go here or go there or do this or do that, you know what I'm saying? Do it. You know what I'm saying? Listen to that because like I said, you just never know what you're going to walk into. You know what I'm saying? I started taking rap seriously when I was in my early 20s. Now I'm 30. And for some people, it's like, well, man, something should have happened. Something should have popped off by now. But not every artist is the same. Not every artist's journey is the same. Like you said, you know what I'm saying? My journey doesn't look like everybody else's. I might not even want the same level of fame as this big mainstream rapper has, as like a Kanye or a Wayne has. You know what I'm saying? Some artists might be able to handle that better than how I would handle it. You just have to know exactly what it is that works for you.
That's very real. I think about shit like that, like on a day to day. Like if I was to blow up, do I really want to be famous, or do I like? Cause it's a lot of shit that comes with fame.
Yeah.
Right?
And because see, I'm a private individual.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily, I like to keep certain aspects of my life to myself.
Right.
I'm on social media, but I don't use social media in such a way where everybody knows everything about my life, because I feel like once you lose that part of your life that's supposed to be private, it's like all these other things have access to your life. You have no control over it.
That's real.
So for me, holding on to my privacy or just, personal things, relationships or whatever, friendships or whatever, if it manifests itself out in the open or whatever the case may be, then it's got to be more of an organic thing. Right. Other than that, I really don't care for people to know, certain details about my life. I will basically share whatever it is that I want to share with the people. But as an artist, when it comes to my music, when it comes to my art, or whether it's anything involving movies or whatever it is, I will share those things because those are the things that I actually want to share. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I got to keep some of my life to myself.
Right. I'm kind of same on this. So I'm on social media, but I really only use it when I'm trying to promote myself for my business.
Yeah.
I try not to scroll too long.
Because see, I'm not. I mean, not to say that I don't think I'm photogenic or anything like that, or that I take bad pictures, but I also don't care about taking a lot of pictures of myself, just being in the bathroom somewhere, just doing all of this. I don't care about that. I'd rather be you see me when you see me. If you happen to get me in a picture or whatever, right. Just you were there. Oh, he was there. Oh, there's a picture of him. I'd rather be like that because that's more interesting to me.
Organic, versus just, okay, here I am.
Instead of me being your face all the time. You know what I mean?
So, you told me some of your influences and kind of what influenced you as far as your rap. Mm-hmm. So would you classify yourself more as a conscious rapper? What do you usually rap about when you make a song? What's your do you have a goal? Do you want to speak to people? Do you want to get shit off your chest? A little bit of both.
I mean, it's a mix. When it comes to things that I talk about in my music, primarily one of the things that I do speak on quite a bit is knowing who's in your company or who's in your circle.
Okay.
And, not trying to, and when I explain this, I try to avoid, seeming real cliche about it because it's talked about so much, but people sometimes don't understand the seriousness of knowing who you are connected to. Mm-hmm. My new project, that'll be coming out in the summer. There are a few songs that do deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Almost where it's not everybody who is there in your vicinity or anybody who says that they are for you, you always have to make sure that they are there. You always have to examine as to why certain people are in your life.
All right.
Especially when it comes to hip hop, because this is a story that's been told over and over and over again. And it's one of the reasons why hip hop stays behind when it comes to other genres of music. And not only that, a lot of the things that we deal with in the black community or whatever, it bleeds over into hip hop. So it's not just the music itself, but it's all about where that comes from too.
Right.
So, you can talk about the rap business and talk about, there's fake people, there's weird people and all this stuff, but it's also in our, in our community as well. You know what I'm saying? It's like the music is basically reflecting off of, you know what I'm saying?
Art imitates life.
Yeah. So, but basically for me, I'm very, very, I wouldn't say that I judge people, but like I said, I'm very, very, I'm all about my safety.
Right.
When it comes to things that I'm acquiring, when it comes to things that I'm do for myself, or when it comes to acquiring a certain thing or trying to meet a certain goal, whatever the case is, I always want to make sure that I'm good on my end. And if I feel like you are threatening that, or if I feel like you have any other motive other than, you know what I'm saying,
just trying to build something, actually, like a genuine vibe. I like to go off of energy. Like, energy is very real. If I'm vibing with you, like, people can say anything, but your energy and your body language, that'll speak volumes. Like, if I'm not rocking with your energy and your vibes, I can't even fuck with you, to be honest.
And with every room that I'm in, because people have told me before, like, anytime that I'm out, you know what I'm saying, with the homies at a show or anything like that, you know what I'm saying, I'm having fun, I'm conversing, I'm talking, I'm doing all that, but I'm also taking in information wherever I go. And like I said, that's a part of just keeping me in check, so I know exactly what's going on. I need to know what's going on
hit on
at
the
all
swivel,
times. So that's something that I will be discussing in my music a little bit more. Plus, the new single that I have coming off of this upcoming project, or one of the new singles that I have planned, is called "The Little Foxes," and basically what it is like, you know, like there's a line in there where I say, "Snatch the foxes, they wear they blotches like designer clothes, and don't give a fuck if you are at home." It's like you have people around you who wear their blemishes, wear their spots, and wear their dirt and grime openly. And they happen to treat you well. But it's like, you know, if you are a it's like the fact that you don't care that I see those things on you is a red flag to me. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It's like, you know, I want to see what somebody is all about, but if I see you doing things that I don't necessarily, you know what I'm saying, that I don't rock with
or agree with
for real,
and
you know what I'm saying, and then you happen to treat me well.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
I have that thought in my head where I'm just like, well,
no, that's real. If they
it could turn, you know what I'm saying, y'all could turn on me at any moment.
Type shit. I've been with people like that who've, you feel me, done shit that I can't necessarily speak about on here. Yeah. And I'd be like, damn, if they did this to so-and-so, I'm more for like, damn, I'm rolling with these niggas. Like, we cool, but are we that cool? Shit, you know what I'm saying? So
because, I mean, if you're cool with doing that to other people in front of me, and if you're cool with wearing those spots on you, then you're not going to have a problem turning on me.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all about me just knowing that. So, but of course, you know, the song itself has a certain vibe, a certain theme going on or whatever.
I'm definitely excited for this one. It sounds dope.
Yeah, it like I said, it's also based on an old black and white movie.
Okay.
That's also based on a verse from the Bible that's, you know, that can be applied to many different situations in life, you know, because I think in the Bible that passage says, you know, catch the foxes before they spoil the vines or whatever.
Okay.
So basically, you know, I equate the vines to like money or anything that is profitable or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Don't let, you know, I'm trying to keep these people from spoiling a good thing. Gotcha. So that's basically the gist of it. So that'll be out soon.
Do you have a name for the project yet?
Yeah, I do, and I guess I should go ahead and reveal it here because I was going to reveal it right around the time that the first official single was going to come out, called Benjamin Black.
Okay.
But the name, but the project is called The Fly Who Warned Me.
Ooh, and I like it.
Yeah, so it's so basically it's like,
it's like it's gonna be some ether. I ain't gonna lie to you.
No, yeah, but basically it's all about me letting people know that when it comes to you trying to disrupt my business or my joy or my peace or whatever it is, whatever good vibe I have going, don't mess that up. So that's basically a warning. And then like next year, another project coming out, sort of like a part 2.
Okay.
Where it's showing what happens.
Okay.
When you actually do follow through with that.
Kind of like a call and response type.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm warning you on this side, but if you actually decide to go ahead and run the red light, then I got to bring it out.
Okay.
But but that's the concept that I have going for that.
That's gonna be hard, bro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So so this first part, it's basically an EP. And then next year it's gonna be the album. So yeah,
okay, bet. That's dope. I mean, I'm now in high anticipation of this shit. So.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for it too. Like I said, the mood on this first part, it's like I said, a lot of, soul R&B samples and stuff like that, and it's more of a lighter vibe, and then the actual album or whatever, it's gonna be a darker tone.
Okay.
So
that's crazy, bro. And I say it's crazy because I've been I've been back in album mode. I've been kind of worried to release that, but I've been thinking about doing something like a duality type thing, where like one side is like the good aspects of me, and the other side be like the bad. So I think it's just crazy how, like, what I'm saying, great minds think alike type shit. Just on like that same aspect.
Yeah, and as somebody who's like really into film, I love stories, and I love to see where things can go. I like a part 1, part 2 type thing. I love the 1-2 punch or whatever. But basically, the title itself, "The Fly Who Warned Me," that's basically that's actually inspiration from from James Bond movies and stuff like that. I'm a big 007 head, so I can't say I'm a big 007 head, but I do appreciate it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, because like I said, that's exactly how I feel sometimes when it comes to how I deal with people, especially dealing with people who are a part of the rap community, and when it comes to the industry, because it can be a very wicked place to be. And so so you have to make sure that you know exactly how to move, that all your senses are open, that everything is working, so that when you do go into a situation, you know what I'm saying,
you can one, make the best of it, and two, just be on your P's and Q's so that nobody gets one over on you, because it's a lot of shit that goes on in the music industry, like behind the scenes, that people don't necessarily know about. Like, some people come out and talk about it, but like the media industry, they don't really put that shit on Front Street and Blast, because it's not what they want you to know. They want you to think that it's all glitz and glam and shit like that, but it's really not what it is. Like you said, the music industry can be really grimy.
And like, especially in hip hop, we've heard these stories time and time again of just, people getting fucked over, people not getting what they're due and all that, people not reading their contracts, people just wanting to get that easy, quick thing, and then later on they're still not in control of what they brought to society or what they brought to community. It's like the whole De La Soul situation. De La Soul for years did not have control of their masters, and up until a few years ago, they were trying to gain the rights to their masters and everything that they were a part of. And I think they have all that squared away, because I think De La Soul albums are now on streaming platforms. But even on the R&B side, like, Anita Baker is one of my all-time favorite singers. Period. And she's 61 years old now. I mean, she's a legend. She's an icon and all that. Love her to death. But for years, the business wasn't right in terms of her being able to control what she gave to people. And so
that's one of my biggest things. That's why I think I'm just gonna go the independent route, because I be damn somebody tell me when I can release and when I can't, and
it's like you know what I'm saying, then you would hear about Kanye, you know what I'm saying, and his label troubles, you know what I'm saying, just him going through different things like that. It's so important to have that paperwork together. It's so important to read everything, because whenever I do get to a situation to where, like I say, because I'm independent right now, just doing everything on my own. But if an opportunity were to present itself where you know, a deal is being given to me or something, I want to make sure that I'm on my P's and Q's and know exactly what's in there and what this means or what that means or whatever. Because whatever it is that I'm putting out there, I want to make sure that I control it. Because whatever I'm putting into my music, that's a reflection of me, and I don't want somebody else to own that and abuse that. You know what I'm saying? Major labels and all these things, their primary purpose is to get whatever they can get off of you. And especially for a lot of black artists, for a lot of us who might be from the hood or from the streets or whatever. Like I said, I've never been a part of that life, but I'm just saying in general. A lot of us do come from an area where that has never really been explained to us. Finances, you know, when it comes to finances, when it comes to credit, when it comes to how to, you know, when it comes to us handling our business, we're not well informed about that. So when we go in and so we go in and sign the papers, you know what I'm saying, and make the deals or whatever, we're not really reading anything.
We're just always looking at is the check or how much they got cut.
And that mentality is totally understandable because a lot of these rappers and a lot of these black entertainers, they come from
like
areas,
households, stuff like that.
You know what I'm saying? They come from areas where there's not a lot of opportunities granted. So
just to piggyback off of that, like a lot of times when people offer you a deal or something, it's always going to be less than what you worth. You got to know your worth. Just like a story on I can't think of his name, but it's the actor that did the voice of Simba in The Lion King. Like his mom was brought a deal of like, okay, we'll pay you $100K now or like $1 million now, but you'll never get anything else. And she was like, nah, we'll take less now so we can get more later, like over time with the royalties and shit like that. Like, we got to be financially, I just had it on the tip of my tongue.
Like financially sound, or you know, or
it's a term like financial fluency or financially literate. That's what I was looking for.
Gotcha.
Later on, I'll probably do a podcast on financial literacy just so that we can all be hip. But it's called music business for a reason, not just music. Like we got to know the business part. That's like we've been saying. That's how people get fucked over. Like it's business. We got to be on our P's and Q's. We got to know about the LLCs. We got to know about all that shit. So.
I would hate to be an artist that's on top of the world, and the whole entire world sees you. They see all the flexing and all the things that you're doing. But then behind the scenes, you know that they don't know of all of, you know, the trouble and the turmoil that you're dealing with behind the scenes because, you know what I'm saying, because your business is not right. And that's why knowing the difference between the image that's presented out there versus what's going on behind the scenes, you have to know the difference between those two things because, you know, you can have an artist like Kanye, you can have an artist like Wayne who's doing all of these things and it's been on top for so many years and they are legends in their own right. But just because they are legends or because they have a certain amount of money, they are still, not saying now, but they can still be controlled and tied to a machine that will continue to work them and run them even when they don't want to.
And I feel like that kind of goes back to what we were talking about as far as social media and only putting out what we want to put out and everything else be private. Like that's real, that shit. And like I said earlier about how anybody can say anything, but that don't mean that it's the truth. Like we can show you anything, but that don't mean it's what it really is behind the scenes. So. Because
for me, my one goal when it comes to everything or when it comes to what God has placed in my life, my main thing is to just, you know, enjoy being a creative. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I am. That's what makes me happy. That's what makes me excited every single day. If I have a project or something to work on, or if I'm thinking about something, because like for my project, you know, I've thought about the track listing for a long time. I'll be at work just thinking about what songs I'm going to put here, what I'm going to put there, what the track list is going to be like. But see, stuff like that,
it's the little thing.
That's, you know what I'm saying, that shit gives me life because I'm so into my craft and I'm so into what I'm into. So so for me, if I get to do those things for the rest of my life, if I get to be a part of those things, Not necessarily saying I have to be a rapper out front. I can be behind the scenes. I can do whatever, as long as I'm a part of that contribution or whatever. You know what I'm saying, or I'm a part of, you know, that creative side of everything.
I 100% feel
you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Like that's my thing right there. But for now, you know, I'm doing the music thing. I love doing it, and I'm gonna keep doing it until it's time to do something else, or I might be doing this for the rest of my life.
Hell yeah.
I don't know, you know, but I just have to be humble in the sense where I just have to say, you know, I got to see where this thing takes me. But I work hard at what I do. I love what I do, and so.
No, I can fully agree with you right there, but just me starting off as a producer before a rapper, I just want to be, at first I just wanted to be in the studio, in the room, just where the shit's happening. I want to be able to have that experience, like, I was there when we recorded this and that. Like, I don't even got to be famous. I just want to have the experience.
Absolutely. See stories like that, because one of those stories that I love to listen, that I love to hear. One of my all-time favorite rappers is a rapper from California named Sugar Free.
Okay.
Love Sugar Free. I always did. And Sugar Free, of course, you know, he has a great history with DJ Quick, like DJ Quick.
So he's like an older cat?
Yeah. DJ Quick produced his whole entire first album.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. I ain't really heard of Sugar Free, but I'm definitely gonna tap in.
Oh yeah. Like Sugar Free was one of the new guys from, like, cause see, the Street Gospel album came out in '97. This was months after Pac passed away.
Okay.
And the first song on that album, Why You Bullshitting, DJ Quick originally made that for Pac.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn.
He originally made that for Pac, but I don't know what happened with that. But you know, Quick gave that to Sugar Free, and Sugar Free just absolutely just flatlined that song and that whole entire album. But when it comes to Sugar Free, and I lost my train of thought.
Shit happens to me all the time.
Oh man, I lost my train of thought.
We was talking about one of your favorite stories.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you. So Sugar Free had been rapping a long time before he got with DJ Quick and before he put out his first album. But he said that he was there when the Chronic was being recorded, and he said that he sat in on a particular session where they were recording a song off the Chronic called A Nigga With a Gun.
Okay.
And he said that he was just sitting in the studio. Dre was playing the song, putting it all together, and Dre asked Sugar Free, and this is before Sugar Free was who he was. He asked Sugar Free to hop in the booth for a quick second so he could lay down one line. Because then the chorus like, who's the man with the master plan? The nigga with the motherfucking gun. And he wanted Sugar Free to say, a nigga with a motherfucking gun, just at one part.
Right.
But I've always heard stories about the recording sessions, you know, when it comes to the Chronic, how Dre would play every song over and over and over and over again. Of course, now, 30 years later, you hear the finished product and you're just like, you know, for this, you know, the amount of care that was put into this album, there's no reason why people consider it to be arguably the greatest hip hop album ever produced. But I like hearing those stories of people being in the room, hearing this classic material being played for the first time, and nobody knowing the type of impact that it was going to have.
Yeah.
So
that's real.
Yeah, so with major albums like Chronic and Doggy Style and Illmatic, and I often go back to these stories because those moments are really, really special. Even with me, you know, I'm still recording my project now, but I try not to lose those moments. For the most part, it's just me and my engineer in there, and my engineer is he goes by Fireworks.
Okay.
He's been one of my great friends for a long time, and
he's local too. He's here.
Oh yeah. So he records, mixes all of my stuff. He's really, really good at what he does, and he's 31, 32. loves music, understands the nature of it, and that's where me and him click so well, and plus, you know, many other things. But, you know, most of the time it's just me and him. You know, I send him a beat or whatever, he's got it pulled up, I have whatever I have written, and I just go with it. But we share like a musical synergy where it's like, you know, we understand that greatness can come out at any moment.
Right.
So it's just like, you know, so we pay attention to the small things. There's been a lot of stuff that I've recorded where I'm just like, yeah, I recorded that, but I ain't feeling it.
Right. Yeah.
Then there's been those ones where I was just like,
this
the
one.
Yeah. But it's just like the wave thing that we were talking about earlier. Like, you know, when you got something, when you hear it back, you just like, the vibe was right in that moment versus this other bullshit that I recorded, and I was like,
type shit. Like, I mean, it's two different aspects for me. So like, when I make a beat, if I could just sit there and play it for like 45 minutes, I'm like, damn, it's been 45 minutes, I know it's a hit. But like, when I write something and it sticks in my head and I just am rapping that shit just throughout the day, I'm like, okay, yeah, this the one right here.
Yeah,
shit.
And see, and you can like the beat, you can love the beat, because I've had these moments where I have a beat and I absolutely love it, and I rapped over it and all that, and for some reason it just does not hit the same way. But then there's like this other beat that I have in the vault that I probably didn't pay very much attention to. It's been tucked away for like some months. I come back to it, I record to it, and it just has a much better feel than what I thought I initially loved.
Right.
Before I put anything down over that other thing. So
that's where I've been there too.
Yeah, you know, it's just, you just never know how it's going to happen. So when it comes to me recording my stuff, it's going to take me time, because I don't want to manufacture anything, because I know the shit ain't real. I know the vibes are off, and whoever listens to it, they can, you know what I'm saying, they can definitely tell too.
I've had people, when I first started off, I had people be like, yeah, what you saying is good, the beat's good, but when I listen to you say it, it don't sound like you feel it or have no, like, it sounds like you're just reading off a paper type shit. So I feel like I'm still kind of trying to work on that and get out of that, but it's like,
I mean, you know, like I said, I've been rapping for a while now, and I still have those moments where I'm just like, yeah, I just spent 2 hours recording that, but I don't necessarily like it. And, you know, the kind of greatness that I'm going for when it comes to whatever I'm trying to produce or whatever it is I'm trying to put out, everything that I put out, I want it to be great, period. Because I grew up off of people that were all about reaching a level of greatness.
Right.
And I feel like in order to be a part of that group, you have to understand where they were coming from. You have to understand their mentality. And you just have to have like a absolute love for the craft. It has to be something that interests you. So when it comes time to do whatever it is that you're doing, you know what I'm saying, you're very careful about how you present it to the world. So
right.
That's why I said I'd rather give somebody a project of 8 or 9 songs if all 8 or 9 songs are just absolutely just, you know what I'm saying, magnificent, versus giving you a 16 or 17 track album where 9 of the songs are really good. Right. Then maybe like the other 7 or 8 or 5 or 6.
And I've seen just 16, 17 track albums where only like maybe 4 of the tracks.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I listened through this once and I don't want to listen through it again. You know what I'm saying? I'll listen to the songs that I like. But that was the thing about albums more so back in the day, before it became about the number of tracks you have on there and how that relates to streaming and all that stuff. Right. You know, it's like,
can I play this front to back without having to skip type
shit? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes certain albums are just too long. And then on the other side, there are certain albums that they're just too, you know what I'm saying? They're just too short, where I'm just like, yeah, I mean, you got an 8 or 9 track album, but I feel like only 2 out of the 9 really, like, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, so, but you know what I'm saying? But for me, I'm going to make sure that every song is good. If I give you 8 tracks, then I want at least 6 of those
to be
great. The other two, you might feel whatever you want to feel about those, but I'm gonna try my best to make every single one of them just like, you know.
Right. That's one of the things I had to learn, just because like you can't make everybody happy. Everybody has their own opinions. Even if like I think this song is fire, somebody might think it's trash. So you know that's just how it goes with life in general. So that's one thing I kind of had to get over, because when I was first coming, I was like, yeah, if I ever make an album, I want every song to be fire. Everybody gonna like it, but that's just not realistic.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's gonna like it. You know, my music mainly caters to well, I'm not gonna say that, you know, because a lot of people like a lot of different things. But just to describe my own music and everything, I am more on the side of what some people might consider to be old school, and the reason is because of just how it sounds.
That's valid. I can see that.
It doesn't necessarily have to be, you know. Sometimes it can just be the sound of the beat. People automatically label that as old school because it sounds like it's something that came out in the '90s. I don't always. I don't see it that way. Whatever I rap about or whatever beat that I produce, it's how I actually feel, and that's just a part of
you produce
my
as well?
thing. No. I don't produce.
Okay, I was about to say what?
No. I'm just a rapper, but I'm very, very selective about the music that I go over, because I do stuff that makes sense to me.
Right.
I can rap over a lot of different things, but I know who I am, and I know the essence of what is coming out of me, right? Like I know I know what works for me.
Right.
And so when people listen to my music, you know, it makes sense that I would go over that beat or over this beat. It's not me trying to capture like a certain feeling by going over a certain beat. Saying. It's about that marriage. So it's like I'm doing what makes sense to me and what's going to complement me and what's going to fit me. Right. You know, so
no, that's very valid. I fuck with that. Me personally, I can't say that I have like one set style or sound. I feel like my shit fluctuates a lot just because I actually like make beats and shit, and the vibe always changes. Because I could make some trap shit, and then I'll fuck around and make a love song, or I'll make, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
and you know, and that's not to put myself in a box or anything when I say that. But I mean, I guess I could just say that about any beat that I go over. It's got to be something that I'm feeling, because I can rap over a trap beat if I wanted to, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to rap over every single trap beat that comes my way. There has to be a certain thing about it that like I said,
sparks that
fits,
interest. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That fits me. So it isn't so much about it being, you know, like some hardcore underground thing, whether it's trap, you know. Whatever the beat is, whatever category it's in, if the beat's good and it speaks to me, it makes me want to write something or whatever. If I had to jump on it immediately or whatever, then you know what I'm saying, then that's what I want to do. So I'm not discriminatory in that way. I will rap over anything. You know what I'm saying, if I happen to be feeling that. So I'm always going off of what is being given to me from out here. Whatever the vibe is, I'm working at trying to receive that better.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? Same. So yeah. So
that's valid. Speaking of, we gotta get in the studio and do some shit, bro. We gotta definitely, because I like your style. You're very conscious, so I think we could definitely make some shit, bro.
Like I tell people all the time, I am not hard to reach. No, I'm not hard to reach. Anybody who wants to work with me, I'm all for it. I love to collab with other artists, because those are some of the most fun moments to me. Like I have a lot of fun recording on my own and just and seeing what I can come up with on my own.
It's definitely different when you have somebody else in there that you can bounce energy off.
So you know, so I'm down to collab with anybody. I don't care if you are like a lyrical miracle mastermind or whatever. I don't care if you are like a say more of a swaggy or wavy type rapper or whatever. If our energy matches, then we can always do something. But I will say this though, and it's only because I measure myself, you know, in terms of the greatness that I try to put out. Your shit can't be whack.
Valid, bro.
Your shit can't be whack. You can't half-ass anything. Just because just because it's swaggy or just because it's wavy does not mean that it has to be lazy. You know what I'm saying?
Say that again for the people in the back, bro.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just cause you're a wavy type rapper, just cause you are a swaggy type rapper, just because you may not be as lyrical, that does not mean you have to be lazy. Whatever style it is that you do that style in such a way to where you're just like, yeah, nobody else can duplicate this. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else can do what I just did. And, you know, because, you know, like Wayne, a Young Thug, you know what I'm saying? I'll use those two as an example, right? Those two have such distinctive styles. And I feel like those two, especially Wayne, like Wayne influenced like a lot of the big rappers that we have now. Wayne influenced those people. But Wayne has such a style of his own, and he always did, that even though he has many children out here, and even though there might be some rappers that do the same style as him, doesn't mean they do it as well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean.
I just watched, not to cut you off, I just watched an interview or a snippet of an interview with Wayne where he was talking about his recent raps, and he was like, yeah, I might spend 2 weeks on 1 or 2 lines. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, because I've had put out so much content and done so many raps. Like there's shit that I said back in like the 90s or 80s that maybe wouldn't translate the same now, where I got to do something different and original. And I was like, coming from that standpoint, that's really valid, bro, because like as much content as Wayne has put out, bro, it's crazy to think that he could still rap about new shit and have new punchlines that hit the same way as they did.
But I mean, he's a master at what he does.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's the whole point of it. It's just like, you know, whatever chamber that you reside in. It's like what WuTang Clan used to talk about, you know, having your own chamber and mastering that thing, so that if somebody else try to come up in there and try to duplicate that, they can't do it because you're so in tune with what you got going on. So for me as an artist, I always have to keep that in mind. Like, yeah, I might remind you of, you know, this rapper from this era or whatever it is, but I'm always trying to create my own chamber, you know what I'm saying? Like my own mansion of sorts. Like, you know what I'm saying? What is the thing that makes me different from this person over here? It's just like with Kendrick Lamar, like there's not another rapper that's ever sounded like him, and there will never be another rapper that sounds like him. You know what I'm saying? Because the same thing goes with J. Cole, same thing goes with Wayne, Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? All the great ones, you know.
Great for a reason.
You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point of it. You're in this thing to bring your own thing to it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever is trying to be achieved out there, bring yourself to that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like people who play sports, just like with basketball players, football players, or whatever. You can take pointers of certain techniques from certain people. You know what I'm saying? Kobe probably took pointers from, you know what I'm saying, from Jordan. Iverson was the same way with Jordan or whatever, but they had to do their own thing, and they had to create their own space.
It's kind of, it makes me think of anime, because in a lot of anime you see there's always a student and a master, and they'll always teach them the basics, and it's like, okay, and even with life in general, now that you have the basics, how are you gonna make it yours type of shit? Like, because you can't just copy me, because one, you're not gonna be able to do it the same like you've been saying, and two, like, it's got to be yours. It's got to be unique to you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I've been compared to, and certainly not saying that I'm comparable to any legend or anything like that, because I don't like to think like that.
Same, yeah.
But, you know, people always say, well, you know, you sound like this person, you sound like this person, or you remind me of this person, whatever. And I'm like, you know, I mean, that's a, you know what I'm saying? That's a huge compliment. That's great. But I always imagine myself being in the studio with the person that they say that I sound like, and knowing what era they come from, and just knowing that one of the first things that I have to do is make an impression on what is it that I'm bringing to the table.
I never thought about it like that.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when it comes to me, like I said, I love movies, I love film. I'm a film nerd. You know what I mean? There have been rappers who have taken inspiration from films or comic book characters and different things like that. You know what I'm saying? Which is what I do. But I always try to create my own thing from that. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to ideas and stuff, I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I definitely like use, you know, other rappers or people that I grew up listening to as a blueprint.
Okay.
And I just and I just basically go off of you know what I'm saying?
You should just piggybacking off with, like, as you should. Like, if you're gonna master anything that you do, you should always go back and see who did it the best and study that.
Absolutely.
Because they're the best for a reason, and that's where you can get some inspiration, get some tips, pointers. Because it's always gonna be game and shit like that. Like, you can't expect to get somewhere without seeing how somebody else did it first. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're gonna be a pioneer, and that goes back to taking the basics and making it your own type shit. So
yeah, because MF Doom, he's one of my all-time favorites. I always say that MF Doom was like my rap uncle, because I feel like a nephew to him, right? Because I feel like he you know what I'm saying, he was I always felt like I was weird and off kilter just like he was.
Okay.
Because his style was so distinct, and plus he borrowed, you know, his Doom character from Dr. Doom from the Fantastic Four, and I've always been into comic book stuff too. So like, you know, so with what I do now, I'll call myself Lex Luthor.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
So I call myself Lex Luthor because I feel like I am the only one of my kind in this city.
I could vouch for that, for real.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't say there's nobody else in Lex that's doing what you do or sound like you. Like, I remember first time I seen you, I think you did a show at the Fish Tank. I think it's called the Fish Tank.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think it's the Fish Tank. I might have the club wrong, but I was like, damn, it's like the style was so different. But I was like, his lyrics are hitting word for word. His delivery, he was doing a lot better than a lot of the other rappers that was up there, and it stood out to me. So I was like, okay, this nigga right here definitely gonna be somebody to watch.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that, and like I said, that's what I try to go for. And when it comes to Lex Luthor thing, I do feel like I am a villain, but not in the sense of like I'm just doing bad shit all the time. It's basically just me saying that I am a villain, or I am the opposite of what society or what the world tries to label you as. I'm more of the side of like figure out who you are and just and just go with this. So societal norms or what America or what the world labels me as, I'm very much against that, because I'm an amalgamation of so many different things.
Right.
So if you're trying to put me in one thing, you're going to get fucked up. Because I'm a sum of many, you know what I'm saying? I'm a sum of many different parts. It's just like, you know, with me, I'm a young black male, but just because I'm a young black male, that doesn't mean that I have to like whatever, you know, you think a young black male should like, especially how mainstream society thinks what young black males should like.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, you know, it wasn't necessarily cool. Well, I won't even just say that was just a black thing. Reading comic books back in the day, that was seen as nerdy. You know what I'm saying? Like in Power Rangers and Beetleborgs, like, you know, oh man, people really don't like that stuff. Or if there was a certain pop song that came on the radio, people were like, oh man, that's white music, blah blah blah. But then I always say, well, you know, first of all, black people are not monolithic. Black people created. You had a lot of great black pop stars. Black people created house music. Black
For
people,
real?
yeah.
That's crazy. All right, keep going on.
House, yeah. House music.
Honestly, I think black people created damn near all music, bro.
But you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, you look at rock and roll. I mean, we know who Elvis Presley is, but there was also Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Fats Domino, Sister Rosetta Tharpe before him.
I want to say that rock music came from blues, which was black music.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You had jazz artists like Sarah Vaughan, Billie Holiday. They set the tone for what modern music was going to be 50 or 60 years after that. Little Richard, who was considered the architect of rock and roll and the true king of rock and roll, which I consider him to be that.
Is he still alive?
No, he died a couple years ago.
Okay, but I knew it had to be recent or something like that.
Yeah, like Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Fats Domino, like the pioneers of rock and roll, even Elvis Presley. they would all consider Sister Rosetta Tharpe to be, you know, the godmother. That's who they learned from.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know that about rock and roll. It was a black woman that influenced. That was a black woman that influenced the architects and the pioneers. She played the hell out of a guitar too. But you know, but she did a lot of gospel music and all that stuff. But she was but she is definitely highly influential to those early pioneers and stuff. But going back to what I was saying before, you know, I'm a villain in that sense where I'm just like, you just cannot put me in a box. And if you think I'm going to do something over here, but I could do something else over here. That's what The Fly Who Warned Me is about, the new project. It's like I am that figure in the room where it's like you see me but you don't see me. It's like you never know exactly what's going on with me.
Okay.
Because that's how I stay 2 or 3 steps ahead. I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't let you know everything.
Right.
It's just like with social media. I can't let you know everything because I don't want you to I don't want you to one up me in terms of what I get to hold dear in my life. So that's the vibe that I'm always coming with. I always like to stay 2 or 3 steps ahead above everybody else. That's how everybody should feel.
Oh, that's real.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Everybody should be that, you know, that figure in the room where it's like, yeah, you can have fun. You know what I'm saying? You can have conversations. You can do all these other things, but never forget where you are and what your place is. Never stop taking in information. Never stop looking and seeing what's going on. And it's not necessarily about being paranoid, but it's about your own self-protection, because there's a lot of wolves and a lot of vultures out here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And basically that's the vibe that I'm on right now. It's all about just being careful as to who you have around you. You know, not to keep reiterating that, but you know, that's the train of thought that I'm on right now. So
okay,
yeah.
And then I kind of want to expand and elaborate on the villain thing, just because I feel like there's a very fine line between heroism and villainy. Just as far as I saw it was a piece of a podcast the other day, but a dude said that heroes and villains have the same starting point. Like there's something painful that happens, and it's just how they choose to respond from it. Am I going to be the victim, or am I going to, you know what I'm saying, okay, this happened to me, so now it's got to happen to everybody else type shit. Yeah. And even just on Lex Luthor specifically, he doesn't even view himself as a villain. In his head, he's the good guy, because he's not trying to do it to be bad. He's doing it because he's like, what if Superman goes bad one day? Like he's a nigga with hella power that he can just...
Yeah, because you had this alien from another place in another galaxy far, far away from our reality. And we don't necessarily know who this person is, but he has this incredible amount of power, and he can use that power to
however he wants
to build things or to destroy things. So when somebody has that amount of power, it's almost like you want to keep that person in check or have something on standby, you know,
just in case.
You know what I'm saying, just in case.
Do you watch like the DC cartoon movies and shit?
I've watched some.
There's one called Injustice where it's like Superman does go bad. You've seen that one?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it. Yeah.
But so it's like if a situation like that happens, like what do we do? You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a very fine line between heroism and villainy, because even when anime, like it just depends on how you choose to respond to your pain. Like we don't really have much control over anything that happens in this life versus how we choose to respond to it. So you got to be in tune with yourself, in tune with your emotions. And sometimes you gotta kind of have to sit back and think, why is this happening to me, but what can I take away from it, or you know what I'm saying, what is it trying to teach me, type shit.
Yeah, I mean, because with Lex Luthor, one of the other things that I always found remarkable about Lex Luthor is that he is Superman's greatest enemy, but he's just a man. He just happens to be, but that's the whole point of it, because I'm just a man. but I will never underestimate my intellect or my intelligence or the things that are in here that make me what I am. And see, just, having a super amount of power is one thing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you are 2 or 3 steps ahead. Because it's like, with the whole Batman versus Superman thing, Batman defeated Superman.
That's valid.
He did. Now, he's not nearly as powerful as Superman was, but Batman has the intellect to be able to do that. Or just like in Avengers: Age of Ultron, when when Tony Stark and Hulk were fighting it out in the city or whatever, in whatever city they were in Africa or whatever. That fight scene, Hulk, he goes mad, he starts raging out, and he's one of the most powerful things on earth when he does rage out and all that, but the intellect is missing. He's not thinking. Tony Stark already has it planned out. Tony Stark can create the thing, the suit, the armor, whatever it is, to be able to take Hulk down, and he knows how to do it. So the whole Lex Luthor thing is, aside from not wanting to fit into societal norms and just being your own person, or just being your own individual self, but it's also always relying on your intuition and your intellect, and always taking in information and always being 2 or 3 steps ahead, just like James Bond would be anytime he went somewhere, whether he was in partnership with somebody or he had an enemy following him. His partners sometimes could turn on him. He didn't know who was for him, but he was always cool in the midst of it because he knew his job, he knew his skills, he knew what he could do, and if something were to go bad, he's prepared for it. And it doesn't mean that there weren't those times where he really got like the really bad end of everything. But it's just that. But it's all about remaining cool and not letting your opposition think that they got the best of you, because even in those really dark times, even in those depressed situations or just anything like that, you always have to remain intact to some degree, because once your opposition feels like they have got you in here, then they've got your whole entire thing. Doesn't matter what they do to you physically. They can destroy you physically, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they got the victory, or or that they won.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
that's valid.
Yeah.
But shit, I guess just going off of that, I know that you and I both have some things going on later. I just kind of want to wrap it up, so I'm not taking up too much of your time. Right. Yeah. But I do appreciate you coming out and vibing with me, bro. I appreciate you having me. We'll definitely have to do this again in the future, and like I said, we'll definitely get together, collab, and brainstorm and do some shit like that. Yeah. You have anything else you wanted to say before?
Yeah. Well, I mean, once again, you know what I'm saying, just thank you for having me. No problem. Having me here today. I definitely love expressing my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? My mind runs 100 miles a minute every single day or whatever, and you know, sometimes I have to get certain things off or say things out loud to kind of like remind me of what it is that I'm doing. But yeah, so this summer, the summer have the EP coming out, The Fly Who Warned Me. The first single, called Benjamin Black, will be out this month, at the end of this month, March or whatever. Okay. And so that will be out, and then also the other single, The Little Foxes, will be out sometime after that. But the project, The Fly Who Warned Me, will be here this summer, and then the album 2023. I might as well reveal the name of that project. It's called The Fly Who Slugged Me. Okay. So, like I said, taking inspiration from The Spy Who Loved Me, which is a James Bond film. Okay, that's hard. That's the connection right there. That's hard. With both of those. So, yeah, more music coming. We'll be doing more shows in the area this year. And so if you're in Lexington or in Louisville or whatever, anytime you see my name anywhere, come out and see me. If you want to see some really good hip hop stuff, if you want to see, if you want to see hip hop in its essence or whatever, I'm always about bringing that. And so that's what I have going on. Always working on my craft, always thinking of new ways to do things. So music videos, music, everything, all of that is coming soon. So stay tuned. Dizzee Wallace on all streaming platforms. At Dizzee Wallace on Twitter. Dizzee Wallace 91 on Instagram.
Dizzee
Wallace. Dizzee Wallace on Facebook. I'm easy to find. Just have to spell it for you so to make it that much easier. So yeah.
Well, definitely tap into the new album coming out, dropping this summer. Yeah. I'm gonna tap in, support your local artists. I cannot say it enough. Definitely, yeah. I'll put links down in the description. But until next time, peace and love, y'all. KAGEMAN'S Korner.
Peace.
Thank you for coming out, bro.
Yeah, appreciate you.